A while back, I created a program called Behind the Reel, and it broke down all of the components needed at the time to make reels. The problem with doing something in an app that constantly gets updates and changes means that all of that information becomes very obsolete very quickly. So, with that being said, I no longer sell Behind the Reel, but there are a lot of videos within it that are still really relevant today. And I want to make those available to people for free on this channel. Some of these videos are just the evergreen ones that it really doesn't change. It's the basics of creating reels, it's TikToks, things like that, that you can use whenever you are creating video content. So this video is all from Behind the Reel, and it's going to help you to master the basics of making reels. So before you jump into it, be sure to follow this channel, like the video, and subscribe. Turn on that bell for notifications too, because it will help us to gain more traction and to be able to help more people do social media in a mindful way.
Find inspiration for Instagram Reels. The first place you're going to come is, of course, Instagram. You're just going to open your app and scroll your main feed to see what people you're following are already posting. Now, of course, we don't want to just copy what they're doing. You want to put your own spin on it because they're speaking to their ideal client who is not the same as yours. Generally, when I find things that stand out, I would go ahead and come over and click on the bottom right-hand corner, this little bookmark tab. And it's going to go ahead and save it. I can go ahead and save it to a collection. You can tell that I already have some ones for myself personally, but I could go ahead and put Reels Inspiration. There we go. And now we can save it. We have a new folder just for our Reels Inspiration. So I'm over here, I'm looking for trends. Oh, this looks like a great trend that would probably be, you'd be able to recreate for any field. So let's go ahead and take a look at this one.
I like big. I like big.
Now, if this type of reel aligns with my brand, my audience, this would be something I want to recreate. Now, I don't have to be I believe this is a pelvic floor therapist. I can use this for any type of business that's out there that aligns with it. So all you need are 5 facts that go along with your business, and you can recreate this in a very similar way. Now, maybe you're not quite sure how to use the sound and you want to see how more people are using it. So I'm going to go back in and click on this. And then at the very bottom of the screen, you're going to see the little rolling baby got back with the little arrow next to it. So that's a great indicator that this is a trending reel right now. And we're going to just click on the scrolling music name down below. This is going to open up all of the posts that have been made with this sound. And you can scroll through these then and see, first off, what the original one was, and then what other people have created with it. So then you can get more inspiration of how people are using the sound and find something that really aligns with you. So if you're not ready to create right then, you can save the audio, and then this is going to show up in your saved albums. There's one specifically for audios that you've saved, and you can go back and open this up, and they have this great little button at the bottom where it just says use audio. Now the audio is already preloaded into your reel that you're about to create. It just pops it up like you're going to create a reel. The audio is already in there, so all you would need to do is put this on your tripod or get ready to film and make your reel. So when your feed isn't producing the type of reels content that you're looking to create, you want to go to the very bottom of the screen and click on the magnifying glass. Now, this is bringing up our Explore page to begin with. This is a great place to find inspiration for usually very aligned to the things that you look for on Instagram, things that you search for. You can go ahead and just click right into the reels. And, maybe this is something that you would want to recreate. Maybe it's not. You can go ahead and just keep on scrolling until you find what works for you. Now, if say you're scrolling your Explore page and you're just not finding it, or you're looking for a whole bunch, you want to batch a month's worth of reels all at once, you can come up here and you can start searching for hashtags that align with your account in the way of what your ideal clients are looking for. If you are an esthetician, or if you're a social media manager, you wouldn't necessarily want to look at hashtag esthetician or hashtag social media manager. When you look at those hashtags, you're going to find a lot of accounts that really, they're first off the top tier ones. It's going to be really overwhelming because you're going to be looking at the top creators in your industry and comparing yourself to them. Comparison is the thief of joy. Do not worry about coming up with the perfect reel. Just come up with the one that's right for you. But also, that's not necessarily what your ideal clients are looking for. When was the last time that a person who didn't know they needed your services was searching for your business? That's not what they do. They're going to be searching on hashtags like hashtag mindful life, something like that. So let's look up mindful living. Let's go for mindful living. And we're going to search that. Now, this is going to be all of the top posts for mindful living. I'm going to click over to tags because this is going to give me a lot of different options that I can look at. Mindful Living has 2.3 million posts on it. Mindful Living Coach, Mindful Living Matters. These are all a lot smaller hashtags. So I'm going to go to the Mindful Living one. It's not too terribly big. And now I can go ahead and over in the upper left-hand corner, right underneath it says top, there's a bunch of reels that I could scroll through there. Or if you want to see recent posts and reels, this will show up here, or we can just go over to the tab to the right where it just has reels. And now we can go through and we can see all of the reels that have been hashtagged mindful living. And again, this is a great place to find inspiration for content that aligns with yours, but it's not like a direct industry comparison. This is a great option if you don't want to show up in front of the camera, where it's just text and a little bit of a moving background. You can do this easily in Canva. You can do this with just some video footage that you shot of nature or something like that. Even your dog in the background, whatever it is, it can be just a little mindful moment. I'm gonna go ahead and save it. So I clicked the 3 dots and now I'm clicking the bookmark button. Now it's saved. And now we can go back to our profile here. We're gonna go to the very top and click on those 3 lines going down. And now we're going to be able to look at our saves. So here, this has all of my saves in it. And you're going to be able to see you have your audio saved, that Baby Got Back one that we just saved in there. Now you can easily click into it and make a post using that audio. If you have separated them into folders, you can find them here. So we have Reels Inspiration. That doesn't always allow you to save when you're just scrolling Reels. When you're scrolling your feed and you click the little bookmark button right from your feed, that allows you to save it to a folder. When you're clicking the 3 dots, that doesn't. So you might not always have them in a folder, but you will always have them in your all posts. And usually what I do is I just save posts that are, inspiring to me. I don't mind going back and seeing them again. They're posts that either I want to recreate or I want to read again. So really, this is how you're going to go through and start finding inspiration for Reels. Trending videos on Instagram are really important to incorporate into your Reels strategy if it aligns. You don't have to do them, but I do encourage them because it adds that entertainment value that oftentimes we might be missing if we're just talking to the camera or we're just making regular posts. Social media is a place that people go for entertainment and to kind of escape it. So the more you can relate a trend to something that your ideal client is going through, the more impactful it's going to be, and it's really going to pack a punch when they read it for somebody to go, oh my gosh, this person gets me. And that's going to make them more likely to connect with you in some way, either if it's talking in the comments or sending a DM, just checking out your profile. But you're going to be able to really connect with people in a different way when you use trends on Instagram. Now, by trends, I mean those silly videos that are often on the shorter side of things. It can be a voiceover, it can be dancing. I know it's taboo, nobody wants to dance on it, but if it aligns with you, if it aligns with your brand, go ahead and try it. There's other ways that you can do it. It can be done with pointing, it can be done just with even looking at the camera. Maybe you find one where somebody says something and all you have to do is flip your head around and stare. These type of videos allow you to connect with your audience in a very lighthearted way. Usually it's finding something that your ideal client feels on a daily basis. And while we don't really want to poke the pain point and make them hurt, it's kind of finding levity in their pain point and lifting them into a point of humor about it at the very least, or lifting them up about it as well. So trending videos on Instagram usually start on TikTok. What I see is that trends will start on TikTok, and then in about 2 weeks' time, they'll make their way to Instagram. So a good way to stay ahead of the trends is to stay on TikTok a little bit and do some scrolling there. You're gonna start to see them pop up, and that's gonna give you time. If you're only using Instagram as your posting place, if you're not posting to TikTok, you don't have to jump on it instantly. You can post too early on Instagram with a trend. I've seen that happen before, where a brand new trend hits TikTok and you post at the same time on Instagram, and it's just too early. It hasn't caught on quite yet there. The sound isn't trending. People aren't aware of what it is, and it just kind of falls by the wayside. Whereas if you would have posted that reel 2 weeks later, it would have had a much different reaction, because the sound is trending, people are looking for it, people are enjoying it, and now you're able to ride the wave of that trend. You can also post it too late. You can really see there's usually like a wave. When a trend comes to Instagram, it starts, it goes up, it peaks, and then it falls back down. If you post it too far at the end of it, people are going to be so tired of seeing it that they just don't really engage with it now either. So it's not going to do quite as well, and people aren't going to be searching for the sound to make their own, so they won't end up seeing all the extra posts there too. But you also have to just remember, do what feels aligned to you with trends. You don't need to do every trend. If there's something that comes out that everyone is doing, you swear it's everywhere and you feel like you should do it, but it just doesn't resonate, don't worry about it. You don't have to do every single trend. Do the ones that align to you, that speak to your audience, and that are easy. You don't need to spend hours creating one reel. Usually, simple is better. I have seen people put together they have put so much time into the reel that they're creating, and it flops. It gets like 12 views. And then I have seen people put together the fastest reel of their lives. They sit in their car, they go on a rant, and they post that to Instagram, and that goes viral. So just keep it simple. You don't have to do every trend, but do incorporate some trends into your strategy. A lot of people don't really want to stand out and show up in front of reels when they first get started. And that's okay. I do recommend putting yourself out there and standing in front of the camera to create a presence and to create a connection with you and your followers. It is important, but you don't have to do it all the time. You don't have to do it for every reel. So in some of the instances where you're selling products, or you just want to share something that's going to do a little bit better than a regular post, because we all know that the reach of reels is so much greater than just a standard post for the most part, we're going to look at a few different options for how to create reels without you in them, or without anyone from your team in them. So we'll start here, and we're going to look at these simple type of text ones. Oftentimes you're going to create something like this in Canva. And here you're going to see it doesn't have to be fancy. It doesn't have to have sound. This video doesn't have sound. It doesn't even have movement. It's literally just a photo that is uploaded as a video. It'll be, 7 seconds long so that it'll loop a few times if people are reading it. It will just get a little bit better reach than a typical post will. Now, there's other ways to do this. This post has movement in the background, but it doesn't have a lot going on in it. It does have sound. They put a very simple instrumental in the background. And you can see right there where it looped, where it kind of jumped, it looped. That's probably not enough time for somebody to have read this entire quote right here. So they're going to continue to watch it while they read the entire length of the text, and it's going to make it so that way maybe they watched the reel 1.5 times. So now Instagram is instantly going to think, oh wow, this must be a really great performing reel. It's going to bump you up in the algorithm. It's going to do great things for you. This is a great technique to help build credibility and just excitement with the algorithm to push your posts forward. We can look at other ones as well, where this one is the text is animated, where the photo is still. This is another great option to do. She did add music to it. Oftentimes I will say adding music to it adds a little bit something extra. You can do something like this with just the text version of, the animation version in Instagram itself. You can do this in Canva and just put a photo with the animated text. Again, it adds a little bit of dynamic, it shares your message, and it just makes it so that way, if this is your branding, if this is something that really aligns, this image would be prominent. Now, there's definitely other ways to do it as well. This one stands out to me because it's very natural. You have a video clip that this person took on a vacation or something like that. It's a gorgeous video clip. You can also do this with stock video clips from places like Canva or Pixabay, Pexels, any of those places that have free stock photos to use. You can use those and use the backgrounds or things like that and create this same thing. But you can also tell that she created this within the Instagram app. So Instagram's gonna really value it because when you edit inside of the app, they prioritize it more than something created in Canva for the most part. That's what it seems like. That's what my experience has shown me. Now, not everyone is going to want to share text posts like this all the time, but they want to share additional things. This is a great example of a reel that uses a product without a person in it, as well as a trend.
I had to tell you about something that I am obsessed with. That's all. I had to tell you about something that
So this uses a trend, and oftentimes we've seen this trend used where a person shows up and goes, I have to tell you something I'm obsessed with, and then they point. But this trend, you didn't have to do that. You could just use, I have to tell you something I'm obsessed with, and it's the image or the video of the product being used. It's a great way to think outside of the box when you look at those trends that are trending and you don't want to show up in front of them. How can you use things that make sense for your audience? Whether it's something I'm obsessed with, a yoga mat, something that I am obsessed with, a facial roller, something that I am obsessed with. There's so many things that you could put in this type of reel for pretty much any field. Then lastly, this reel shows a process being done. Nobody actually shows up in it.
This is awesome. 2, this is tricky. 3, this is awful. 4, I am awful. 5, this might be okay. 6, this is awesome. The creative process.
So that just walks you through the creative process, and since this is a creative business that they're doing, the sound goes along with it, and all you need to do is just film yourself creating it. And this can really be for anything. I could do this myself for creating a graphic in Canva. You could do this if you were even, mixing an herbal blend or a face mask for somebody, or There's so many different ways that you can use this outside of just crafting type of businesses. So there's a lot of different ways that you can use Reels without ever showing up in them with your face. So if you're not ready to do that yet, search for these type of Reels and find ones that resonate with you and use those to recreate. And then I will still encourage you, in time, practice. You can make Reels and never post them, but start to practice getting comfortable in front of the camera, taking time to give a little talk or try a trend. You might find that you like it a little bit more than you expect to.